What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Core Conversations for our Thursday, our Freestyle Thursday. It's going to be a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. Have some things to touch on, and I'll wait for you guys to show up, and then we'll get this going. Hi, everybody. Lorna. Hey, Jenna. Shannon. Yes, blessings, my friend. Jenna, if you could just type in the chat some information about the GoFundMe I just put up on the on my live just before we got on here. I want to just talk to that in a moment. I'm going to share this as well. I don't know if you're driving, if you got a chance to do it. I just want to send a quick shout out to his family. There you go. So there's the link, the GoFundMe. And we can just to fill some people in on all that's going on. Love to support our community, right? So type that in. Sorry, just end the recap. Cool. Hope everyone's doing well. Cool. So Jenna, you're welcome to join me. Just talk about the GoFundMe or just type some more information in there. And I hope everyone's doing well. I want to do a bit of a recap from yesterday's show. Talking with Sean around Sugar Mode Off and the things that she's doing there. Also, it's my son's birthday today. So it's his 20th birthday, so shout out to you, Aaron. Happy birthday as you're going through your day today. 20 years for me as a dad in this parent game. So we'll talk about that and some of the not reflections, but words of wisdom we had. So thank you. Cause Shannon, how old are your kids now too? Cause like, was it Aaron that was in the same age, same class, or was it Nathan? I think it was Aaron. Yes, officially out of their teens. Yes, definitely. What's going on? Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. So, Jenna says here in the chat, I don't think I can go on camera today. However, if you're able to donate, support the Stewart family. I know that all donations will go directly to the family to support winterizing their farm. We have a colleague, Jenna was mentioning to me, a colleague that was part of Brink who has lost a family member, and the GoFundMe that I just posted here, and the picture that I posted just before we came to air a moment ago. I'm sorry I didn't have enough time to actually dive deep and get more information, but still, just a sense of urgency for us as a community to hit that GoFundMe and just give what you can and help this family winterize their farm, and to be able to just to support the family. Tragedy forces you to pivot so fast, and the more that people can come around them and lift them up, the better. And it's always a blessing to see how I've seen in the past and heard stories of people who were just pleasantly surprised at how many people were there for them, and how things just worked out. So let's do our part where we can. Jen, I don't want to put a lot on your plate, but if you have any more questions, like hit the GoFundMe, learn more, understand more, look back and just see how we can support. I wish I had more information. Sorry. Okay. All right. So you'll see more of this on my post later. I'm gonna talk about my son for a moment here, and he's so low key. Like I don't usually. It seems like I talk about Nathan, my basketball guy, a lot, but my older son really is. I was gonna say he's my favorite. No, I wouldn't say that. He is definitely just a wise soul and a good guy, and my friends just. They're just drawn to him because of just his character. He's so low key. So this is why this is like one of my favorite pictures of him right now. Just trying to find it. Yeah. And all this is just him behind his camera. Doing a course right now on media communications, and it's funny how at this age, kids at 20, they're supposed to figure out what they're going to do the rest of their life. And I know that for him, he struggled with the different options. It'd be better if he had no options, but he's super smart. He's so talented in so many different things, so he decided to just run in one direction. And he's doing his program right now. Took some photos. This is our photo shoot that we're doing just last Friday. And it's interesting, from an education perspective. There's a lot of people that talk about, the support in the school systems, and I can give a whole commentary on the Peel board, the schools that he went to, and how they failed him at times, and how they supported him at times too. So it's a double-edged sword where we found the right schools and we helped him out, and then we also found moments where just like you just had to shake your head at the systemic racism and just the blatant lack of support that parents got. So for him to land on his feet, I'm so grateful for his mom and I just being able to be there for him, to be available for him, for teachers that supported him. Parenting is a thing. I have to say, as much as I'm celebrating him, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to make it about me, but there's this sense that I'm like, this is 20 years for me in this parenting game, and it is hard if you want to do it well. It's easy if you want to just sit back and be an uninvolved dad, but if you want to be intentional with your work, it's a hard game. And so I'm celebrating the fact that I had this amazing human being, and I played some part in that. Not enough to take credit, but to just celebrate those dad goals. Parenting ain't easy. So, party people, what is your advice for new parents? What is advice that comes out of your mouth when you hear someone say, we're expecting our first, we're adopting our first, we're suddenly going to be parents? What is the advice that you give? I'm going to break it down to bringing up boys in a moment, but for this moment, just going from zero to parenting, what's your advice? And you could come on screen if you want to join me. It's a freestyle, so I have no guest scheduled for today. So if you'd like to be my guest, be my guest. Don't do it. Jokes aside, there's times when I see people like with a 20-year-old, a 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 15-year-old in my house, not my house, but in our family. I'm like, man, don't do it. That's a kidding, not kidding, Shannon. I know it. So I forgot that I have a Dad Goals mug for a second there. Like this is how central this stuff is to me. All right, we got Gary's gonna join me on screen right about now. I think, if it works. Yes, sir. Good. What's going on, my friend?
Good morning. First, I want to congratulate you, man, for all the work that you're doing. I want to tell you that, man, I celebrate you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You know, it's not easy. And talking about sons.
Yes.
Congratulations on your son.
Thank you.
I would say enjoy it. It goes by fast. Right? Being who you are, your son is probably going to do more than you have done. And that's a great thing. It's a humbling thing to say.
Yes.
Right? Like my first son, he's now 31.
Wow. Okay.
And it's a journey.
Yes.
But to see what he's becoming is an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy being a parent. I'm still learning to be a father, not having a father.
Yes.
After 31 years. But I would say go for it, because why not? I mean, some people don't want to have kids, unfortunately, but when you have kids and then you see what they're becoming, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Because you want to leave a footprint.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. And I want to give a moment to those who can't have kids. I know I have some friends who always were just like, they were chasing after that, and couples are chasing after that. So there's a sense that, we could talk, flippantly about don't do it, do it, and those different things. I just want to give a moment for that, because it's one of those things that I recognize that children are a blessing, and we didn't have to even consider what if we can't have kids, right? Like we went through we tick those boxes of you get married, you have kids, whatever. We just went through those progressions without any interruption. So for those who have those interruptions and stuff, I just, as I'm celebrating where I'm at, I also, recognize the fact that there's people who would give anything to say that they have a child, let alone a 20-year-old, let alone a boy, you know what I mean? So, and then also,
go ahead.
So no, I was gonna say, and it's just, and Shannon's point here too, like the hardest thing is watching them go through the hard times.
Yes. Because also you have to release them.
Yes.
And let them soar.
Mm-hmm.
And not be overprotective, but it's a hard thing when you went through something. If they've taken your advice of your experiences along the way, but you have to also let them have their experience.
Sure.
But I totally understand what you're saying about, those who don't have kids. I have friends who are still trying. And, unfortunately, it's not happening. I'm going to say yet, because I'm believing it's going to happen. But I do feel for those who do want children, because it's a blessing.
And there's also, I'll read Jenna's comment, and I'll make my comment. She says, thank you for that. It's really important for people, both who have difficulty and not difficulty, to include in the convo. Well, yeah, and Jenna, the reason why I do that is because we should always be mindful of other people's situation.
Right.
And I think that just, if nothing else, sparks a gratitude for where you are in life,
True.
you
Right.
know? And I know the other the other part to this is people who go through the motions, they find the person to have the kid, to get the thing, to tick the boxes, and then it all evaporates,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, the marriage falls apart, you have this kid. Like, we try and manufacture that next stage of life. We chase after that next thing. We don't really enjoy being content where we are.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to hold on to that moment because it's so fleeting.
Fleeting is the word. Thank you.
Like my son's 31 and I'm watching what he's doing. And I'm like, wait a minute. I know where that started.
Hmm.
People are seeing what he's doing now, but I saw it as he was growing up as a little kid.
Yep.
And I miss those moments.
Well, yeah, it's so funny, and I think that's where I may differ from some people. Like, I talk to people that are like, "Oh, I miss when my kid was this age," or "I remember when that age." And there's one day I was with my son, with my younger son, and we went to the gym. He's 16. He was probably 13, 14 at the time, and we did a workout. We played basketball. We did some medicine ball tosses. We showed some weights. Da da da.
Right.
Da. And then this cute little kid comes in, and I love dressing my boys up, right? Like, I mean, little
Yeah.
kids' clothes, you dress them like dolls, but like little boys, you make them dress like little men, right? Like, like these,
Yeah. Yeah.
like the cool like pool boy hats and all those different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so this kid walks in, and Nate's just like, do you miss like me being that age? I was like, we just did a workout. We just threw medicine balls. We just did weights. We just did a
Yeah.
lap pull down. You kidding me? This is like, this stage of life is the best stage of life with
True.
you. And
True.
I will always say that no matter what
Yeah.
stage, like, this is the best stage. So him at
Right.
20, and we're doing a photo shoot for his like for his class and stuff, and I should be doing something else. And I'm like, go out, we take some pictures, we go back home, order some food, sit down, watch a Marvel movie. I'm like, this, like, you're trying to tell me that 10 years ago was better than this moment right now? Like, this is the moment right now.
True. But isn't it epic working out with your son in the gym?
Oh yeah.
I love that.
It's that concept of play. Like, for me, I mean, for some people, like, working out is like flossing your teeth, so it's not fun. But for me, that's fun. I am playing with my kids now. I'm not entertaining them. We're doing something together.
Right. Right. That's priceless, man.
Yes.
I mean, I've had people, hey, Gary, who's that? That's your brother? I said, no, it's my son.
Mhm.
Not your son. I said, I'm going to get some water. You ask him who I am when I come back.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
It's a blessing to experience that.
Mhm, mhm.
And
Yep.
again, for anybody out there, um, I pray and I hope that, your dream comes true if you want to have that child or adopt a child, because that's also something that you could do. And
Yep.
important.
Absolutely. The let's talk for a second about the knight in shining armor complex that we as parents have. When
Mm-hmm.
Shannon said the hardest part of watching them go through tough times is the fact that, because our years on the planet are, we have a different lens. We can give them the answer for the thing that they're going through right now, but that's
Right.
not going to help them.
No, they got to experience it. Experience is the best teacher,
Yep.
right? And it's so important to let them and experience things on their own as well,
Mm,
because they have to
yeah.
fall. Our kids have fallen down, and sometimes we rush to pick them up, and sometimes we didn't.
True. All
Right?
depends on how you hear the fall.
Well, yeah, of course, of
Right.
course. Like there's something I spoke to my sons about sitting at the kitchen table one day, and so you know how the table you can extend it.
Yes.
So I told them about the wide road and the narrow road.
Yes.
This is decades ago.
Mhm.
And they remember that simple concept. You could take the wide road, but that's a whole bunch of troubles.
Yes.
You could take the narrow road, there'll be obstacles, but stay on the narrow. They still remember that to this day, very day.
Yes. It would be interesting to ask my kids what what sermon have I been preaching to them that they remember?
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? Like, what saying have I been saying that sticks with them? Like, what is the
right.
thing that they're, you know what I mean? Because they probably can't even think of it on the spot, but I'm sure there's certain things that they, that they just live out, right? So, yeah, those are things. And Shannon's comment. No one wants to hear "I told you so." Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? That's the hardest thing to say. I told you so. I have to bite my tongue because I don't want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard that. We've all been there.
Yep.
I'm sure you've been there, Martin. Do
Yeah.
you, what did your parents tell you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember anything they said to you?
Yeah. No. Okay.
Oh, come on, Martin. Come on.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Exactly. No, you live it out though, right? Like principles and all those things. I wish I could like track down a dad saying a dad quote. Anyone have a quote that their parents used to give them? I'm gonna read Shannon's comment here while we're waiting. I've had some deep conversations with both of my boys, sharing that we will offer advice not to be mean, but rather because we have done the same things. Right.
Right,
Put it in the proper
right,
context so they can hear it, right?
right. Exactly. That's true.
Mm-hmm. And my wife says it this way. She was like, "We have given our kids a compass,
Mm,
right? So you have to trust that when they're in those tough times, that like it's gonna lead them in the right direction. Like we've equipped them with everything they need to sort out and to navigate and all those different things. And it's almost like trust that you've deposited enough in them for what they like. They have enough for what they need right now, right? So
let me ask you this question. Would you ever look up to your son?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think that that's I try. I can't think of a context, but I'll give you a context from my dad to me. And I
Mm-hmm.
was sharing this with my son just 2 days ago. Because I teach Pilates and he's always been active. There's times and I've put pictures of him doing Pilates with me, right? So he'll work out with me. They've moved away, but now, he's now starting to come back in. He'll be in today. I was telling my son how it's amazing how my dad can humble himself to take instruction from me.
Mm,
And how powerful that is, because the man who taught me how to ride a bike, taught me how to walk, taught me to do all these different things. So he's an authority, but then he's like, okay, now what? Okay,
mm,
what's next? Like there's a sense of honoring and respecting the craft, what I've invested my life in, the fact that in this small corner of the world, I'm an expert and he needs to learn from me. That
right.
there's so much that is said and so much power in that moment of just being able to honor the life decisions that your son has made
Yes.
through that action.
Mm, yes. That's powerful.
Man, almost brings me to tears every time I say that.
Martin, that's powerful.
So I think that indirectly for my sons, I'm equipping them to be a place where they have that much passion and that much um, dedication to whatever that they put their hands to, that I could look up to them.
Right. You know, my son wrote a book, Spirit of a Champion. It's on Amazon.
Mm.
And he signed a book for me,
Mm.
but I was not allowed to read it in front of him.
Okay.
He signed it for me, was Dad, don't read this in front of me. Martin, after he left and I read that thing, I cried.
Mm.
I cried. Because in this audio sign, he said a few things.
Yeah.
And it broke me.
Yes.
Because at times I don't think I'm the best dad, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
But man, what was written, you could give me $1
Yeah.
million, I wouldn't take $1 million.
For real. Yeah.
You know, it's something that, so what I've learned and what we learned, there's kids out there who don't have that father
Right.
to love on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we can do as fathers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's just
I
my,
think I think the fact that you say I'm not the best father tells me that you're a good father trying to be a better father, not a bad father. You know what I'm saying?
Martin, don't make me cry on camera, man.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, like we're trying to be better. So of course we're not going to say I'm the best. No, I'm trying to be better. I got to be better this every day
Yeah,
in whatever way is relevant to them, right? So
like yesterday was Sun's Day, something like that,
yes, that's right. I didn't even. Yeah, that's right.
and I didn't get an opportunity because I was doing things to contact my sons. So when I went to contact them, I couldn't get them because they're busy men. They're grown men now, right? They're doing what they got to do. One's in Montreal, one's here, but they're busy. But those precious moments, man,
Yep.
they don't last. They don't last. And if you can embrace those moments, do it.
Yep.
Because they say time flies, it does.
Yep.
So tell me something. How is your campaign going?
It's going really well. It is. I'm loving it. I'm loving this journey. I need more soldiers. I need more money. I need more time. I need less houses to touch. You know what I'm saying? But like, in spite of all those things, for our first time doing this, it's going way better than expected. And I feel like I'm being myself through this whole campaign.
Wow. Have you learned a lot about you?
Yes.
Wow.
How many hours do we have left?
Okay, I'll let you go, man. But
Man, that's like, am I could write a book about this campaign. Like I
right,
can tell you how much I've learned about myself.
right.
And it really comes down to integrity.
Mm,
And the reason why I say integrity is really, putting to test the things that I believe,
right.
living out the things I believe when I'm being tested, when someone is trying to put false accusations on me,
Mm-hmm.
when I want to retaliate against somebody, when I want to be
Right.
petty about something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and do I still let my light shine, or do I continue to, I can't, man, the number of football analogies I've used.
Hey,
I'm back
really?
in my, sorry. I'm back in my football days because I'm like, one, you need a team. Two, you need to be like consistent. Three, you just need to play your role.
Right,
You got to stay on offense. You know what I'm saying? You got to,
right.
like, all these different things. I got to just like, it's just a different mindset, man. So I'm loving it. I absolutely loving it. And I'm loving the connections that I make. Like what I'm doing here with you right now,
Right.
this is what a conversation at the door sounds like with me. It's not like, hi, my name is Martin. Can I get your
Wow.
vote? Thank you. Bye. It's like,
Right.
you know what I'm
You're
saying? Like
building.
building here. Okay. I'll give you a story. I shared the story last night, and then I'll let you go, because I could talk about this stuff all day. Yesterday, we're on this one street, and my wife's talking to the gentleman. She's been amazing doing the canvassing. So I see her still talking with the guy. You can see they're looking for me. So like I walk up. The guy's name is Kevin. He is a gentleman that I used to go to a camp with. He went to Abundant Life Church in Rexdale. Okay.
Wow.
So back in the days in Rexdale, when I was in maybe like 1920, I was helping out with this camp, and we take underprivileged kids up to this camp. Totally forgot about it. And this guy was one of the guys that I worked with there. So this is over 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago.
Wow.
So I'm talking with this guy, we're reconnecting and just, finally connecting the dots of where we know each other from. And then he's like, okay, so now, I think you're going to do great here. You need to talk to this guy. This guy's an OPP officer. He's around the bend. Tell him that Kevin sent you, right? So I walk all the way over, ring the doorbell for this OPP officer, his big, Sprinter van's in the driveway. And like, hi, my name is Martin. I know Kevin from 25 years ago. We did this and this. We had this great conversation. Super excited. We're talking about all the different things we could do in the community. Going to work together. I'm going to have him on my show. Blah blah blah. And then I go over and then I talk to another person. And then this lady, 3 kids, and we're just chatting. And she's talking about how she feels in the community. And we're having this really good conversation. And then she says, I'm going to vote for you because you took time.
Wow.
Just because you took time. It's just because you didn't just say hi or drop a flyer and then leave. Because you're taking the time to have a conversation with me, it means that you're going to take time with our community. So I'm going to vote for you. And then after this conversation, she's saying, and there's a bunch of people who walk their dogs in the area. And then they, and after they walk their dogs, they kind of stand in a circle and they yap there for like half an hour. So like this street's really tight and this is what these people do. So I'm like, oh, cool, whatever, right? So nice talking with you. Nice to meet you. I actually brought my wife back. She met my wife and stuff. And then as we're driving away, I see 4 people with their dogs on this driveway. So I'm like, stop on the brakes, put the car in reverse, roll back, run up to them. And I'm like, I met this person, Kevin, my friend from back in the day, and he introduced me with this person over here. Then I met this person, and they told me that you guys stand on the street and just talk with your dogs. So I just want to meet you all. And I talked with all these people and had this conversation. And like, that's what I'm doing, man. Like, that's what my canvassing is looking like. I'm like building connections with our community. And my biggest concern and my life lesson with this is that, is it going to be the best person for the community that's going to win, or the best campaigner who's going out there and is going to just like go and just identify bang, 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 and win it on a system? So I'm putting in the work to understand the system part because I understand the connection part.
I would say it's about engaging.
Yes.
Like that's dropping off the flyer. Here, vote for me and go. No, you're taking the time. If it's 60 seconds or 2 minutes, you're taking your time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. And I think you're going to do great.
Yep.
Because like you're learning.
Learning. Yeah, man.
Right? So people are not going to forget your face, man.
It's true.
People are not going to forget your heart.
That's facts. That's it.
It's about the heart work more than the hard work. Hard work is necessary, but hard work is more important.
Yes.
So keep on keeping on, man.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to tell you that, and I'm praying for you. And I can use the word prayer. I don't mind saying it unapologetically. I'll say that I am praying for you. And you may not see me on screen, but when you don't see me on the screen, I'm there with you, man.
Appreciate it. I know those aren't just words, man. I feel that. Thank you very much.
It's your time to shine. It's your time to soar and explore for more.
Yes.
So
all right, my friend.
These people would like to say hello to you, man. So
yes.
you go, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Gary.
Blessings,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Blessings.
Yes. Word of mouth is so important. Misty Lynn Cawthon, do you have a moment to join me since you're not on a plane looking like Beyonce? Man, that was good. Yes, Gary, I needed that conversation. I need to just put some of that stuff out there. We are Pilates House. What's going on, Carissa? Okay, let's get it. Hey.
Good morning. I don't have good light. Sorry. I was not expecting to jump on. How are you today?
I'm doing good. We missed you yesterday, second half.
Yeah, that was so good. I was like, oh, now they're going to move the plane. Well, that's great.
No.
I wasn't very thrilled, but it was a great chat.
Yeah. So the you're kind of grainy there. I don't know if that's.
It might be my light. That's gonna backlight me. Oh, it's not even gonna work. Hold on.
Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Yeah, Sean in Sugar Mode Off yesterday was fascinating, and guys, if you get a chance to watch that replay from yesterday, it was such a great conversation. I think that she's doing amazing work, and I didn't realize how um, where like the whole her whole mission is really in this infancy in many ways, right? And I think that she's on such a great path with this, and it can just blow up, it can absolutely blow up.
Definitely. And I think that what I really appreciate is the fact that she's very, very neutral in her approach. You know, it's
Yes,
not like the fire and brimstone. It's not the pity pat on the shoulder approach. It's just like, hey, I have this info. I just want to share it.
mm-hmm.
Pick it up when it resonates with you.
Yes.
And you know, I think that's an approach that people need right now. People are tired of being lectured to and shamed, and you know, so it's really refreshing to see somebody that came into it something very you know, whatever it is, very honestly,
Yes.
and then took it and ran with it and built it into something that is so very accessible.
For those of you who are just watching and have no clue what we're talking about, yesterday's guest, Sean, I can't remember her last name, I gotta look it up, has an organization called Sugar Mode Off. And she talks about the negative impacts of sugar historically within the Black community and within other communities, as well as sharing her life experience with it and how it took the lives of some of her loved ones. And she is a nurse. She went back to school for human rights and has a master's degree in that, and is really looking at the sugar industry, the impacts on us personally, and the impacts on the Black community, to be able to kind of formulate this message that says, I'm inviting you to look at this and to see what changes you can make and see what impact this could have positively on your community. And to Missy's point, it is a very like middle of the line, no shame, but look at this. I challenge you. I invite you to look at this kind of messaging. So it was good.
Yeah, and I think that looking at it from the social impact of it as well, not just the standard, oh well, you know, extra pounds, you're going to die. Just taking a look at how historically it's had a massive impact, and that hasn't gone away. It hasn't gone
Yes.
away just because people aren't, you know, out on the plantations or whatever. It's very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and the plantation piece too is something that hit me, because I'm like, from in my Canadian lens, you know, you think plantation tobacco, full stop, right?
Or
And then
cotton,
or cotton, yeah,
or
exactly,
dole, pineapples.
yeah,
Maybe I'm just hungry.
right, perhaps. so, so yeah, so she brought in the it was a prisoner leasing, you know, like let me put her. I'm gonna put
I
her
didn't
her handle in.
hear the end of that, but I did know because I had looked into it, knowing that she was going to come on eventually. That is, I mean, when you look at the history in general, it's gross. But then when you look at how they, you know, were able to trap people in even after emancipation to come out and
Yes,
come out using the term as if they had choices,
right.
um, into the forced labor of sugar plantation life. And you know, the historical piece, and I'm hoping that people are understanding more and more now that we have more information about epigenetics and all of that. But you know, history doesn't die when you do. It continues on.
Yeah,
It's passed on through DNA, RNA, cellular level stuff. And
yep,
if we don't remember that, if we don't really recognize how communities have either benefited or have been reduced by it historically on
yeah,
the cellular level, we don't see where the long-term effects of some of the bad things that have happened in this country and around the world historically have and continue to have. And, you know, I wouldn't have thought about diet in terms of sugar in that way. You know, you talk about food deserts and all of that, and you know, that's kind of where I was expecting the conversation to go.
Right.
And so it was really, really a great chat.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel bad because yet again, I was like, talk to Misty after. She'll be great for your business. Like, I feel like I feel like I'm feeding Misty's business because I just think that you're just such a great thinker and you just see things in
Thanks, Mark.
a great way when it comes to business. And that's not even like Pilates stuff. It's just a service oriented business where now she's going to increase awareness, and it can, I mean, there's so many partnerships that are just waiting. Like there's so many things that can happen with that, right?
Yeah, I think we have to think beyond just the what we do.
Yes.
If we're building communities, little tiny villages, if you want to call it that, then, you know, every village has someone represented from most groups. You've got the witch doctor, you've got the personal trainer. No,
yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, it's being able to have the humility to say, oh, you know what, I don't have all of the pieces, but I know this person does, and that's just a big deal.
Yes. I'm almost sad now to think about it because sometimes we think so small.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that like her message is like, why isn't, I don't know, this can sound wrong. Why isn't the president talking about this? Why isn't this like a national crisis thing? Why is it being spoken of on Instagram Live in one corner of the world when it's really a national attention thing, an international attention worthy thing?
Well, I think power dynamics plays into it. I know that yesterday Joe Biden did give a speech. Was it Joe Biden? Someone was giving a speech. I'm fairly certain it was coming from the president, but I was on a plane and there was a hurricane. But he was talking about nutrition and the fact that there's so much food insecurity in the United States. But again, that's only part of the picture.
Well,
looking at from that food insecurity piece is a very, very important piece. But talking about the effects of food insecurity beyond, oh, well, then you're just hungry. It's worse than that. And, you know, if we keep things in little pods of conversations, these little pockets, without marrying them and looking at the bigger picture, getting back to your thinking small point, if we keep things so fractured, we're never going to get to the place of healing the problem, improvement. We can't, because nobody knows what's going on in the corners.
Right, exactly. And the other part too is not only that thinking too small, but not afraid to go deep on the topic. For example, here in Canada, in Mississauga, we're talking about diabetes and how we're doing cities changing diabetes, and we're, you know, pharma is partnering with cities to look at healthy, active movements and making the city address preventable diseases and all these things. And all that stuff's warm and fuzzy and good, but no one's vilifying sugar yet because that's going to hurt big business to vilify sugar.
100%. I mean, the lobbies, the subsidies, all of these things that go into propping up, you know, the industries that we choose to elevate versus those that we choose to, you know, allow to exist on their own merit, so to speak.
Yes.
And it's across the board. It's not even just that. We know it's farming. It's so many things. But again, if you start really taking the masks off, if you start peeling the layers away, you have a big problem on your hands. And
too big of a problem, right?
I think, at least in our generation, it's almost insurmountable. There's no will. And as long as we keep having all of these other things going on, you know, people start to say, well, that's just a little problem, or that only affects this much of the population. Yeah. Well, if you look at this country and the fact that we have no real healthcare system, it is a huge deal to disregard it. But to say, oh, well, it mostly hurts Black and brown people in this country, that's okay to say.
Yeah.
So we're not going to really worry about that because those people, you know, they'll figure it out, which gets us back to the historical piece of it. And it all comes around full circle.
Yes, absolutely. Anita, Explore Pilates, says, I know someone who attended AA to deal with their self-diagnosed sugar addiction. Wow.
An addiction is an addiction, right? It's like, you know, we have support groups for people who are addicts of addicted to alcohol, addicted to drugs, etc. We don't have support groups for people, and I don't want to say we don't have them. There is such a thing as Overeaters Anonymous or whatever. They exist, but you don't talk about them.
No.
At the end of the day, you need to eat. It's not like you cannot eat. You can live your life without alcohol. You can't live your life without food. You would think that addressing that food piece would be such a huge deal because the psychology behind it is so big because this is something that is a need. Now, how do I take my food that I'm buying at the store that's supposed to be okay for me, that's laden with sugar, chemicals, and crap that my body can't do anything with, so it just stores it. You know, we have it's this problem that is like the avalanche.
Yes.
And again, Anita's friend, I admire them for doing that. Can you imagine walking in and saying, hey, yeah, I'm here because I'm addicted to sugar, and everyone being like, ugh. But it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. And one of the things we didn't mention that Sean mentioned yesterday was she talks more about awareness than addiction. And that was one of the beautiful things that she was saying, is that it's awareness at this level.
Yes. Yes. And I really liked, thank you for bringing up the question that I couldn't ask as the loudspeaker lady, but the carbohydrates piece, the simple versus complex carbs and all of that, because I think a lot of people don't get that there's a difference. And like she said, people coming in on that the first rung don't really recognize how there could be a difference. So meeting people where they are, again, in a way that doesn't shame them for not knowing, but instead says, this is the most basic way you can look at it. There are other pieces, but let's start here. Let's count our calories. Let's look at the macros. You know, do you have a thimble? Can you measure your, it's like ridiculous.
Right.
So,
it's good stuff. At the end of the conversation with her yesterday, I said something to her and I felt like I was just speaking like right into her heart when I said it. And it just came out before I even realized I was saying it. And she was just like, wow. And just fast forward right to the last 3 minutes, just to watch her reaction when I said this to her. She finished talking about the importance of sugar and all these different things and where she's going with her business and how like her husband's on board and all these things. And I said to her, refine your message. In the same way sugar is refined down to that white refined sugar, and it's in its most addictive state. Let your message get more and more refined. Spend time and refine that message until it is addictive, so people understand what you're doing and more people get addicted to your message because you're doing great work.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant advice for so many reasons and so many places that we could all kind of think of that. Not that there's anything wrong with generalization, you know, being broad by Anita. But at the same time, when you're talking about a topic like that, you have to be simple, precise, almost surgical in catching people at the right time, in the right place, in their learning process, whatever, to get them to at least give another listen.
And she's doing it. So it's not like I was giving her, I was just like, it's an encouragement, because I think the refined message is sugar awareness. Because I say, or audience, or you're watching this, if I say sugar awareness, what you do is you take an inventory about what you know about sugar.
Mhm.
automatically. I know a lot, I know a little. Like wherever you are, there's this awareness of what you and I have garnered over 20 years in the fitness industry, what we've heard, what we've
Or you
studied,
say,
what we've
what
done,
might I be missing?
or what might I be missing?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
And
So
I
you
think that's the piece that it's getting people to take a personal inquiry
yes.
and then decide if they're going to push it forward. That's where the refinement comes in, I think.
Mm, yeah. There you go, Sean. We're watching this replay. We're breaking down your business for you. I think she's doing a great job.
I think she is too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so excited to see where that goes.
And again, so many people need to hear about it and challenge what they know.
Yes.
I've been down that road where I was like, I'm not eating any refined sugar.
Mhm.
It was a sad and boring road.
Yes.
But, now I'm getting toward 50 and I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to go back that extreme, but I do need to make better choices. I
Yep.
can't have a whole package of Mamba in one sitting. I have to maybe be a little bit more judicious in my processing of that.
Right. I don't even know what that is, but I'll just smile and nod.
Oh my God, hold on. So Mamba. Sometimes I just have it with me and I don't even eat it. It's candy.
Okay.
Tropical flavors, no dyes. It's just something I started eating as a kid. And when I get like in a real rut or a funk or I need to like process something that I'm working on, I'll start eating Mamba.
You sound like it's a commercial.
I really can't explain it. It's so bizarre because I won't eat a chocolate bar. I won't even, Snickers, like forget it. Like I'm never doing that. But this garbage, I will sit and eat it. It's
Can I
3
see it?
different flavors.
Mamba.
Mamba. It's just,
Sorry about that. Yeah.
getting honest, being true about, oh yeah, I do eat this, and why do I feel like I need this? Sometimes in a meeting, and I'm like, I don't even want this.
Yeah, yeah.
Carrying it in your travel bag is probably a good way to make sure that you eventually eat it, which is a bad idea. So do I need it? Well, what is this an addiction? Should I be aware of this?
Should you be with Anita's friend?
Yeah, I should probably be there, but
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna look it up and buy one on Amazon to see what the hype is about. Because
so get the tropics. You have to get the tropical flavors. It's the best.
Okay. Is it like a Frutella or is it like just like a toffee thing? Is it like what is it like?
It's more like a Starburst,
Like a Starburst. Okay.
but better. And it doesn't have that nasty cherry, which ruins the whole package.
Don't mind the cherry.
Ugh. Pass.
Okay.
Total pass.
There you go.
Yes.
We learn something new every day on Core Conversations.
It's true. It's true. Some of it we wonder why we even know it in the first place. But either way, sharing means caring.
It's true. You might have rocked my world with this. Like I'll find out when I get my hands on one. So
At the end of the day, though, my favorite thing in the whole wide world, pineapple.
nice.
And yeah, is it sugary? Absolutely. But there's just nothing more satisfying than just like one square of pineapple. And if you eat too many, your whole mouth falls off. So it's like terrible.
That's the other parts. It's true. Yes. We digress. Or did we digress? Did we really? I think everything's game.
Just kind of swooped around and we're back now. Mm-hmm. It was a great show, though. So I'm really glad that we talked about it. Hope we have her back.
Yeah, absolutely. Next Wednesday, we do have another guest.
Oh la la.
Yes, I'll confirm before I let you know.
Okay.
And I think I might take the better part of next week off because it's advanced polls next week already, Misty.
Wow. Oh, that's a lot of palm pressing for you.
So October 7th, next Friday, is the first day of advanced polls. So I think I'm going to take the week off step away from this for a minute and just really just that last push towards the first checkpoint. And then the following weekend is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. And then same thing again, another second week of advanced polls, and then a week, and then the elections on the following Monday.
Wow.
Isn't that
Getting
crazy?
close, down to the wire.
We've been talking about this it's a 5-month election, and I've been, pre-campaigning before that. So 5 months have gone that fast.
Wow. I mean, the fact that you're still smiling and because I genuinely am in awe of it. I would be like on fire already. I couldn't even consider it.
Yeah.
But you've done it with such grace and you're still smiling. I mean, it's pretty brilliant to see. I'm so proud that I know a person that's in this political sphere, and one, isn't a complete jerk, and two, really is still marveling at the things that they're seeing about meeting people and hearing people and seeing people in their spaces as they are. The story that you told earlier was super great, and I just it's really neat to see the evolution.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend.
Rest well, friend. You're gonna need it.
I know. You're in Chicago right now, or?
I am. I present tomorrow morning.
I know. It's going to be so good. I wish I was there.
I'm excited, but I have a little bit of agita. I'm like,
yeah, so, that's good.
Yeah. But
you wouldn't care if you didn't have that. You didn't really care about this anyway, right? Like,
true. That is true. Oh, and I met Tasha Edwards in person.
Oh, did you?
Time. Yes.
How did that hug feel?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And you know what? She is not taller than me. I expected her to be taller. So, I mean, her spirit is enormous. Her spirit fills up the whole room, as it does on screen. But she's great. It was like meeting, a family member that I hadn't seen in a long time. It was super easy breezy. She just texted me actually just now.
Nice.
So how's that for timing? But just absolutely lovely. I'm glad, even though I'm sweating it a little bit, with COVID and all of that. I'm just glad to be back in spaces where we as movement people can move together.
Yeah.
It makes me really happy.
Great. So good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
good.
Well, Martin, I've got to get back to working on my presentation because I've taken it apart for the 4 millionth time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna jet.
All right.
But get some rest, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.